Welcome to this solution video from Fellow Mind Netherlands. Today we are going to talk about advanced production. My name is Martijn van den Heuvel.
My name is
I'm a
Ruud
business
Schiepens, pre-sales consultant.
We're going to talk about advanced production. Ruud, take it away.
Here we go. Advanced production is a solution that gives insight and overview of all kinds of production-related issues, status overview, etc. It's a great solution.
Yes, we didn't come up with that for nothing, huh? There are some issues on the shop floor, on the production floor, that can be tackled together with this product.
True.
Do you want to help us with it?
What you see in particular are problems with capacity issues. So long-term, often there is not enough insight. So capacity issues, what are my available resources? What are my already reserved resources? Long-term, less long-term, short-term, those are particularly problems that we see out there. But also on all kinds of short-term indications like can I still deliver to my customer on time, and should a certain production order then get a higher ranking, so a higher priority than certain other production orders, even though it looks like they can be done reasonably simultaneously.
Yes, but then isn't it just a matter of adding a few extra people and you're done?
We could do that, but usually that's not the most efficient or cost-saving solution. So what we are trying to do with this solution, what we see as a result, is that had insight on the somewhat medium and longer terms, so that you can take these kinds of insights to planning meetings, to make that information available there, to make the problem visible and insightful a bit further in advance, so that you don't have to go and find expensive solutions in the short term.
Yes, but at the end of the day, what are the results of the problems? You have no people, you have no capacity, you have no oversight.
Nay.
So then what happens in the workplace?
Eventually you're going to have stagnations, or at least your planning is not efficient. That's often a problem. You have capacity issues, so certain production lines may not be able to run efficiently, run fewer hours. Sometimes a production line may have to close if people are not there. So those are some big challenges, I think, and ultimately the customer suffers, and I think that's what we don't want. You want that delivery reliability, you just want to guarantee it, and you want to honor the agreements you have with your customer.
Yes, and then also within cost price if possible.
Yes, that too.
That would be great. Okay, but how are we going to solve it?
Yes.
Because the product provides a solution for us.
Yes. Yes, it's actually made up of 3 parts. The capacity overview, which is actually for the issues that I particularly just outlined. The capacity, medium term, long term. So what are my resources? Which ones do I have available? Which ones are reserved? And not for one production line or one machine. No, you can also see it for several machines or even for an entire production department. So on multiple levels you can make that transparent. In the medium and long term, as I just mentioned, I think that's actually part of the solution. And in addition, we also have production and operations overviews, where you can see with all kinds of graphical indicators with colors immediately where the problems are. So, are we getting into trouble somewhere, or should we have already started somewhere with a production order? Aren't we already too late somewhere that we should start with now, for example? Those kinds of issues or those kinds of overviews we offer too. Management by exception, that's what we always call it. These tools really offer a good solution for that.
Yes, and you also talk about overviews, but then those are dashboards, I understand?
Yeah.
And the solution, advanced production, is linked to Dynamics 365.
Correct. Dynamics 365, so it's a solution on top of Dynamics Standard. So all the standard functionality you can use. But what we often see in there is a piece of overview, a piece of insight that we're missing, with still being able to reprioritize certain production orders. For that, I think we made something great.
So for customers with Dynamics 365, that's what it's suitable for. So what kind of companies are we talking about that can use this solution?
Especially companies in the manufacturing corner, so manufacturing companies like engineering factories, automotive companies, metal factories, those types of companies. And the solution is often used by people directly related to the actual production process. So a production manager, a demand planner, a production planner, those types of people use the dashboards. Certain clients that bring production planning a little bit more to the shop floor, at some point it may also be a production operator using the dashboard.
Yes, well, I'm very curious. Can you show some?
Should I?
Yes, please.
The first dashboard we see here, that's the capacity overview. And that gives an overview of available and reserved capacity. And it actually helps you identify any capacity issues and take immediate action. You are very flexible in terms of settings to view capacity at a detailed or at a group level, and you can view a specific time period you can choose. Well, the first thing we see up here, that's the resource that I select. Right now I have a production unit, so it could be, for example, a department selected, but you can also search for a group of machines or, for example, a specific machine. I've selected one here. Well, then I can also set up a period template in there. I have now chosen to do that by day, week, or month. So here I have the first week shown day by day. Then I see 3 weeks come by, and then I see the views by month. Next, over here, I also have the ability to select the types of order I want to pass along. And I also have the ability to choose for which plan I want to see my capacity view here. And that's super interesting. So you have the ability to create multiple plans. This way you can run multiple planning scenarios and compare them against each other. Well, that's what you see up here. And then, based on what you have set up above, you can see what the actual capacity is. So I have an overview of my available capacity, what capacity has already been reserved right now, and what is the result. Well, over here in the lovely bright colors red and green, you see that red indicates that I have a planning issue. So I have planned 8 hours too much for this day. On the other days, I don't have a problem. This is indicated with the green color, meaning that I have not exceeded the available capacity yet, that I have no scheduling issues and challenges there yet. Well, what you also see happening the moment I click below on the different colors is that I also immediately see references to what production orders are scheduled for that day. So what is my production date? What is the status of that production order? What is the related production order number, if any? And any additional information that I can see as well with a total view of capacity on the right-hand side. So the numbers and the quantities that I just mentioned, you can also hear, including the capacity that's still available for that day or week. All that information is available here. And the great thing is that you can immediately reschedule from here. You could do that based on certain product characteristics, for example, but you can also select certain production orders based on other information here. With that, you can indicate that, for example, you want to reschedule these 2 production orders. And if I choose reschedule production order, then I can immediately reschedule these 2 production orders after, say, tomorrow, and take into account all the standard production setup that Dynamics 365 uses by default. So I have the ability here to perform that rescheduling right from here without leaving this screen. You also have the ability to put the capacity away in a graph. I can do that through the top button here. I can show that as well. And then also, this solution, as mentioned earlier, can be used together with our configuration management solution, where so you can also use certain product characteristics. And you can also have those come back on this capacity overview, where again you can use characteristics, for example, to shape your production scheduling. So what I can do, I can reschedule these 2 production orders. So I've selected them here now and click reschedule. Then I can specify a particular schedule date. Well, the Dynamics 365 users will recognize that as familiar screens. Also for this order, I press OK. Well, then you immediately see that the colors have changed. I no longer have a scheduling challenge. All the lines are now marked green, and my production planning is perfect now. The operations dashboard is the second dashboard I want to show. The operations dashboard actually gives a very clear insight into orders that are not going to meet your delivery date. And based on the second column, weighted priority, you can give your production orders a certain ranking. You can do that manually, but actually the great thing is that you can also do that automatically. You can have the system calculate how high the priority is for that production order. And depending on the value of the weighted priority, you can see that certain colors come up. Well, in this case, there are quite a few production orders where I have a delay, or at least that are going to approach my delivery date. So for example, that's one of the values that you can include. So whenever a production order goes over the start time, then that order gets a higher ranking. The red production orders have a high priority, the orange ones have a slightly lower priority, and the light-colored ones have no priority. You can then use those values in turn to adjust and define your production priority. You also have the ability to add some other colors to, for example, show production operations that require a quality employee to hook up. Well, so with that, you could immediately have these production orders singled out. The moment a production order or an operation comes up with a purple color, for example, you know you need to approach the quality officer. So again, you have the ability to have those priorities calculated. And this kind of dashboard is used particularly in a week planning to determine, are we doing okay? Are we on track? And there is more. For example, you also see here another gear popping up with the previous dashboards with status. Has that order been completed yet? Yes or no? Or what is the current status of this production job? You also have the option to see the previous resource. So right now the production job is scheduled on this resource. At that moment, that value is carried over to the previous resource. This is very useful for the people who know Dynamics 365. The moment that one resource runs out of time, so you've spent more hours than you're supposed to, it drops out of your resource and you also lose this overview. So through this dashboard, we can also provide that information. You also have the ability to start and stop your production jobs from this dashboard. You can see that here at the top, start and report as finished. So you can start and report your production order finished here. That's also for customers who want to use the dashboards a little bit more on the production floor itself and be able to bring certain operations or activities to the shop floor. This only applies to that operation and not the entire production order. So where you're not using the shop floor functionality within Dynamics or through the warehouse management app, you could also use this dashboard to process the progress of your production orders through this dashboard. And the last and third dashboard I can show you that is the production dashboard. The previous dashboard was at the operation level. This dashboard is at production order level, so one level higher. Again, you immediately see the colors and certain indicators like the crosses, which gives clear insight and again enables the management by exception principle of focusing on the exceptions and focusing on the colors that clearly stand out. The dashboard actually gives a very clear overview on the production order and makes the exceptions very clear. This is also a little bit more from a planning point of view, so in the second column you can immediately see what your scheduling issues are. And to give even more information, in the third column, an error message added to it. Is there a reference issue? Is another production order causing a delay? Then you'll see this reflected in there as well. Management by exception, the red immediately attracts attention. There we also see that there is an immediate challenge. Apart from the dashboard indicating planning issues, it may also have to do with the production result, so more the financial angle. And what you also see back here in this report is that there is a difference in the margin. As you can see here on the right side in the information panel, you see that reflected. What did I expect and what has actually been my result? So here I also have certain production orders. The expected cost price here was €1.17, but my realized cost price is €149. So obviously something went wrong. The great thing about this is that usually this information is not available until production orders have been reported ready and have been completed and have been completely closed. Here we have the ability to get this information in the dashboard even when the status of the production order is reported as finished. So in this case, I might have made a mistake here, for example, with a cost price capture on my item. I now have the ability to still change that cost price before I actually close my production order. Also here the integration with configuration management, where you have the possibility to get show attributes on the screen to adjust certain filters and search criteria. And the last I want to highlight is that I have the ability to quickly see if I have exceeded certain hours on this production order. Yes or no, so did I spend more hours than I had planned for these production orders?
Well, Rude, lots of information. So 3 wonderful dashboards that help you keep track of your production. Quite a lot of information too, but fortunately we have a recap, right?
Sure. Well, shall we walk through it? Here they are, the takeaways. The advanced production solution is for companies operating in the manufacturing, construction, supply, and metal industries, among others. The solution is used on the production floor, or at least by production workers such as production planners, demand planners, or production operators. Advanced production brings your production and insight to the shop floor, and it allows you to look at your planning on a detailed level and quickly get visibility and insight into capacity issues, and from there apply solutions directly to counteract those capacity challenges. The solution also has seamless integration with our other solution, FellowMind Configuration Management. The solution is very user-friendly with visual management and clear icons in the indications and bright colors, enabling management by exception, so it saves you time by focusing only on the exceptions and the problems to ultimately ensure your customer satisfaction and your delivery reliability.
So with advanced production, you can actually fulfill your agreements with the customers, which is ultimately what it's all about. This increases delivery reliability and then also keeps it within the cost price, so that's great. And if you add configuration management to that, you're even better off.
Definitely.
And we'll then look into that a bit more in another video, so have a look at that too. I'll put the link somewhere. It will probably appear above in the video. Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I would say happy
Thanks
to
for
see
watching.
you next time. Bye.